John's Journey Home. Into the Light. Chapter 1. The Final Days. John had lived a long and fulfilling life of 92 years. He was a beloved husband, father of 3, and grandfather of 5. John grew up on a farm in rural Iowa during the Great Depression. Times were tough, but his family made do with what little they had. When John was 18, he enlisted to serve in World War II. He was deployed to Europe where he saw the horrors of war firsthand. John lost many close friends in battle. When the war ended, he returned home changed but resolved to live meaningfully. John went to college on the GI Bill, being the first in his family to graduate. He studied accounting and secured a stable corporate job. It was there he met his wife Margaret, who was a secretary. The two fell in love and married within a year. John and Margaret settled down in a Chicago suburb to start their family. They had 3 children who John took great pride in raising. He attended all their sporting events, school activities, and milestones. After retirement, John remained active by volunteering and spending time with his growing family. He cherished being a grandfather and passing on his wisdom. John lived life to the fullest until his early 90s. Now at 92, John was hospitalized with heart failure. His doctors informed the family that he only had weeks left. Though it pained them, his children and grandchildren visited daily to comfort him in his final days. John lay weak in the hospital bed. His family kept his spirits up by recounting fond memories and stories from his meaningful life. Laughter filled the room as they reminisced. But they struggled to hold back tears knowing he would soon pass on. Chapter 2. A Divine Companion. As John spent his final days surrounded by family, he noticed a glowing figure sitting quietly in the corner of the room. At first, he thought his weary eyes were playing tricks. But the gentle, radiant figure remained present day after day. None of his family seemed to notice the mysterious figure keeping vigil in the corner. When they momentarily left the room, John asked, "Who are you?" The figure just smiled serenely in response. Over the next few days, John realized this was his guardian angel, sent to comfort him and guide him in his transition. The angel's silent attentiveness brought John an overwhelming sense of peace and tranquility. Though the angel never spoke, John felt as if they were having imagined conversations about the meaning of life and what comes after death. The angel's soothing energy reassured John that he would pass on to somewhere beautiful. John found he was no longer afraid of death. He felt the angel's light wash away all worries and anxiety about what was to come. There was a sense of eager anticipation to embark on the next leg of the journey. The angel became John's divine companion, keeping reverent watch over him day and night. Their mystical bond brought solace to John. With the angel present, he was ready to let go when the time came. For now, he basked in the angel's grace and loving presence. Chapter 3. Memories and Goodbyes. John cherished the remaining days he had left with his family. Knowing his time was short, they kept a constant vigil by his bedside. The room was filled with love and laughter as they reminisced. John's children and grandchildren took turns sharing heartwarming stories about their fondest memories together. They recounted family vacations, holidays, weddings, and milestones. Though they tried to hold back tears, the sadness of impending loss weighed heavy. John soaked up every detail and smiled at the nostalgia. He felt immense pride and gratitude for the life he built and the family before him. They had filled his 92 years with joy and meaning. As the final hours approached, John's family showered him with affection. They held his wrinkled hands, gave gentle hugs, and thanked John for the profound legacy he left. The mood grew solemn and quiet. John told each family member how much he loved them. He offered final words of wisdom and encouragement for them to lead good lives. With his farewell said, John was at peace knowing his family would carry on in his honor. The room fell silent as his breathing turned labored. John glanced over at the angel who continued keeping vigil. The angel's eyes met his, reassuring John it was almost time. With his family's love enveloping him, John prepared for the peaceful transition. Chapter 4: A Peaceful Transition. The final day arrived when John felt his life force fading. His breathing became heavy as his body weakened. His family stayed by his bedside, holding his hands and keeping calm spirits. John's eyes flickered around at his children and grandchildren one last time. He felt immense gratitude for their love and care in his final days. Though sadness weighed upon them, they put on brave faces and offered comforting words. As the beeps on the heart monitor slowed, John looked over at the glowing angel who had kept dutiful watch in the corner. The angel gave a serene, knowing smile and extended a hand. John gazed at his family once more, then reached out to take the angel's hand. He closed his eyes as a feeling of grace and lightness came over him. The angel guided John's soul towards a warm, peaceful light. John took his last breath on earth as he moved on to the afterlife. His family choked back tears, mourning the loss of their beloved patriarch. But they found solace knowing he passed gently guided by the angel to a pain-free place. Though John would be dearly missed, his family was grateful to have been present for his final moments. They were comforted envisioning his soul at rest in serene paradise. John would live on in their hearts and memories as they lived their lives to the fullest in his honor.